J.T. Burks is an ordained minister, police chaplain, community activist, coach, TV show host, father's rights advocate, life coach, and mentor. He's also the founder and president of Positive Vibes Community Group, a nonprofit organization in Millville, New Jersey, in which has many programs for youth and their families, which is why I definitely had to have him on my show. JT Burks, you are definitely what's good in South Jersey. JT Burks, how you doing, man?
What's going on? Pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Listen, man, I know that you got a busy schedule. I know that your doc is it's pretty long, so I'm glad that you made some time to sit down with me and come chat it up with me on what's good. Thank you for making time. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, here's the thing. I've been wanting to get in contact with you for a while because you are the Mr. Positive Vibes man. You're the guy who is doing things in his community continuously. And I remember pulling up on you when you were leading the march right after, like last summer, when everybody got word of everyone was affected by George Floyd's slaying and his falling, what happened. And it was crazy. It was almost like pandemonium out here in Cumberland County. I was amazed. So I say all that to say, I really want to know, first of all, where are you from, JT?
I'm from Town. Been in South Jersey my whole life, but because of some circumstances in my childhood, I kind of been transient. Going to each city. So I lived in Millville the longest out of all the three cities, and townships and everything surrounding in South Jersey. But because of my upbringing and dealing with some trouble behind my mom and her circumstances, I bounced back and forth between Town, Bristol, Millville, Vineland, Seabrooks, all over the place.
Cumberland County, you've been out here. When's your birthday?
November 27th, 1984.
Wow.
Product of the 80s.
Got it. So I'm curious, what were you like as a kid, as a young JT Burks? Was you out here? Was you just out here running wild?
Man, I was a troublemaker, man. Just
that's hard to believe. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. A lot of people that know me from my past are actually surprised, like in the reverse side of it. So you saying, man, that's hard to believe. A lot of people that knew how I was, as a young teen and all that type of stuff, they're kind of like, they can't believe that I'm doing the positive vibe stuff. Because, man, I aspired to be like a troublemaker, man. I wanted to be like a kingpin. I wanted to be a gangster, a big homie. So that's the type of stuff that I wanted to do as a young man. So I got in trouble a lot in school, kicked out of school. So that's pretty much a lot of my childhood right there in a nutshell.
So when I first met you, I think we were about to go, and I was going to actually film you coaching the kids. It was a basketball practice.
Yes.
So when I hear you say something like, I wanted to be a kingpin, I met a man who was just so focused on what he was doing. I met a man who was just so about his city and just about the kids and making sure that they had something to do. And you were very involved in your community. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, what happened to you? Like when you were a kid and you were wanting to having aspirations to be the big homie, who was the voice that kind of said something to you to make you change your perspective?
It was my grandmother, and then I have a part of our extended family. We call him Uncle Jerry and Aunt Vera. My Uncle Jerry, he was a hair salonist downtown Bristol. And what happened was, I think I was around 14. I had got sick. So, before I thought I was the man. I'm like, man, I'm invincible. So when I got sick, it kind of put me in a pause and I almost died. So my grandma and then those two individuals reached out to me in the hospital, and, they took the time where they can get me to sit still, to really talk to me about life and making some changes and slow down a little bit. So I would say they were the three individuals that really were able to catch me in that moment of weakness and feeling vulnerable really changed my life around.
Looking back on that, if you met yourself as a teenager now and you analyzed yourself, what were some things that needed work? What were the areas that you could have spoken into yourself if you were to meet yourself as a coach, as being Coach JT now, and dealing with the youth like you do? What would you have said to yourself?
To appreciate the people that made an effort to try to help me understand that they really did love me and they had my best interest at heart. Because when I was a young person, people always reached out and tried to mentor me or steer me in the right direction, but I just ignored them because I was always angry, full of aggression, and just, like a ticking time bomb. So what I would say to my younger self is just calm down, relax, understand that you have people that are willing to help you.
Wow. Yeah. It's so hard to see that sometimes, though, isn't it? Because you're right in the thick of it. Like, whatever you're dealing with, I know as a teenager, it was hard for me to really focus on the people that really cared about me because I was so fixated on everything that I thought I needed or the things that I wanted when I really didn't need those things. Like, the baddest girl in high school, I thought I needed her, what I'm saying? But I didn't need her. Like, she was doing her own thing. She was trying to figure out her life. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be Prince Charming or whatever. I'm trying to save her. And she's like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing either. Like, why do you think I'm so fly? Like, so it's crazy. We ended up being real good friends. But yeah.
That's one of the things that actually saved me too. My sophomore year was I had got arrested. And, I was dating one of the prettiest girls in the school at the time. And she was like one of the captain of the field hockey team and all that good stuff. But when I was getting taken out in cuffs, some of her teammates was like, ain't that your boyfriend? And she was like, nah, I don't deal with guys like that. And I was like, whoa. So that was one thing that kind of humbled me a little bit too.
You're a married man, correct?
Correct.
Do me a favor. How long have you been married for?
We've been married 8 years, getting ready to go on 9.
That's crazy. So my question then is, how did you meet your wife? Because I'm sure that she was a pivotal part in the man that you are today. So how did that go down?
Man, so much of my life is almost like a storybook. Because after I got dropped by the girl from the field hockey team, me and my homeboys, we went to a Millville football game, and we actually weren't supposed to. We just went to the wrong game. Our coaches wanted us to go scout a whole nother team, and we skipped out on that and went to the Millville game. And when we went there, that's where I met my wife at, and I knew her from elementary. So we have a pretty cool story because we was kind of like childhood sweethearts in elementary. And then she moved away, I moved away. And then to meet her my sophomore year at the football game, we were able to reconnect. Then we were high school sweethearts, and then circumstances happened. We split up for a while, and then we rekindled everything about 10 years ago now. And that's pretty much some of our story.
Wow. So you've been married for 8 years with this high school sweetheart, kindergarten sweetheart, all of that, right? So my question is, out of those 8 years and then some, what's one of the most valuable lessons that you have been taught by your wife and your family?
To appreciate good people, you know what I mean? Because they don't come as often as you think. So their value is immeasurable. So that's one thing that my wife has taught me, is to appreciate good people, because she's always pushing me to connect. Because a lot of people think that it's easy for me to do community work, it's easy for me to coach. But my wife, she knows the real me. She knows I'm shy. She knows I like to be like a recluse to myself. I don't like big crowds. I don't like attention. So she's the one that's always pushing me to go out here and expand my horizons and meet new people and try new things and make sure that I connect with the people that's always been in my circle, whether it be family members or lifetime friends. She's always making sure that I call, check up on people, and keep those connections to make sure that I let everybody know that they're valued in my life. So that's one thing that I could definitely credit her for.
That's important. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's real important. So that's a great segue too into your work, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this passion of yours for your community in Positive Vibes. Now,
Yeah.
tell everyone, what is Positive Vibes, the nonprofit? What is that?
Man, Positive Vibes is just about bringing people together from all different walks of life, helping them understand that everybody has a positive vibe. Everybody has something that they've been blessed with to bless others with. So it's about bringing those differences together and those different avenues of positivity and going out here and just spreading goodness to help people in a practical, effective, efficient way. So you don't always have to reinvent the wheel, utilize what already exists and make the most of it.
Now, Positive Vibes exists, but it wasn't always that way, right? Like, how long has Positive Vibes been a thing and been active existence?
I say we've been active as far as the Positive Vibes name, probably about 5 to 6 years. And the reason why I came up with the name is I've always been doing community work, so probably about, I think, since 2002. And then Positive Vibes came from, I'm a avid reggae listener. And one day I was listening to Bob Marley and I discovered he had a song called Positive Vibrations. And he was saying, everybody, you got to have a good vibe, you know? So I said, wow, I was already telling people it's better together. So then I couldn't figure out how to kind of string it together. Then when I heard that Bob Marley song, I said, there we go. Positive Vibes, better together. So that's how I kind of came up with the name of being able to represent everything that we stand for.
Got it. What's the difference between Cumberland County now with your work and Positive Vibes doing good things? What's the difference between Cumberland County now to how it was when you were growing up? Is there a difference?
Yes, it's definitely a difference. Before, I would say there was a lot of minorities who didn't understand that they can take the leadership role and take the initiative to go out there and be effective in their community, you know, consistently. It was always kind of like people falling in a certain niche, and that's pretty much where they stayed at. So if I was a basketball coach, I had to stay stuck in that mindset. I couldn't bridge out and do more with my influence. So I think that's the biggest thing that has changed in Cumberland County. People who are in different positions of teacher, law enforcement, or whatever it may be, understand now that they can do more with the position that they have than just stick to the status quo.
So you're not one trick pony out here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the
Amen
truth.
to that, sir. And through your work, how do you think it has affected the community? I know, but I'm just asking from the man himself. What do you think? How positively have you impacted Cumberland County?
Oh, man, it's hard for me to kind of gauge it myself. But, you know, from other people reaching out to me with different testimonials and things of that nature, I can say we have reached pretty far because I get hit up with people from all walks of life, all different areas, from North Jersey, down south. We even have some connections in Jamaica, which is cool. So a lot of people pretty much have told me they have been inspired by our work. So I would say, you know, I feel as though I've done a pretty good job of spreading positivity around our area.
Yeah, I think every function that the community is involved in, I've seen you there, just about. Even the ones that I didn't even know about, you'll invite me, and I'll let you know. Like, when I see you out doing your thing, it inspires me a lot because sometimes people get discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to say, you know, what's the use, man? Because sometimes people are
Yes.
overwhelmed with what they see and how it feels. So my question to you is, how do you keep from being that way? Or how do you keep on keeping on? Because I'm sure you've seen your fair share of things that are, you know, just take the wind right out of you.
Yeah. The way it's always happened, like they say, behind every good man, there's a good woman. So my wife always reminded me of the reason why I'm here. The reason why God placed me here is to do good work, do good things. So her always behind the scenes encouraging me and pushing me and making sure that I stay on task and stay focused, and constantly reminding me of my upbringing. Because outside of Bob Marley being one of the inspirations for the Positive Vibes name, it comes from my childhood to where I would always look at things and analyze it, to the point where I was like, why my coaches don't ever come out here and visit me? Though my coaches or counselors understand that I know I'm getting in trouble at school, but they're sending me back to the circumstances that's keeping me angry, that's keeping me upset, or keeping me depressed, keeping me down. So that's what keeps me going, is because I look back at the young JT and what he needed. So it becomes urgent to me, because I understand that I could have went either way just from day to day. And I don't think enough people take that into consideration, that you don't always have time to be like, JT will be there next week. He'll get his mind right. It has to take constant pressure and consistency from us as adults. So when I look at the kids, I understand that I can't afford to give up, because I may be that one voice that they are dependent on to keep them on the right track. So when I do get in my feelings from time to time and upset, I just look at things from what does the kids need. If I get upset with some adults and all that type of stuff, I look at the innocence of the kids and what they deserve. And that's pretty much what keeps me pushing forward for the community.
Got it. Man, I'm so glad you're here, man. I'm so glad that you made time to sit down with me, because, man, I was looking forward to this, because I know that, behind the things that you do is it's a good foundation, and it's really cool, because you sent me some flyers. You sent me like what's to come for this year, and it's so much. I mean, it's so much for, like, there are things for the girls. There's things for the guys. There's things for the athletes. Talent shows coming up. I'm gonna enter that talent show too. I'm gonna get up
Awesome.
in. Yeah, I'm trying to go with the gold, man. I'm trying to get first place.
Yeah.
But everything that you're doing is so positive, because there's no reason for people to feel as if, oh man, there ain't nothing to do out here in Cumberland County, man. I wish we were more, involved in things, man. Or most of the time, as when I was coming up, one of my favorite lines was, all right, so what is there to do?
Yeah.
I'm just walking around like, what are we going to do with my friends? We would figure it out, but it would take some time. But with Positive Vibes being around, you really don't have to figure it out. You don't got to think too hard. So we appreciate you for that, man. I just wanted to, celebrate you for that, because, yeah, you're giving some kids something to do, and someone to look up to. I'm wondering, for when it's all said and done and people start talking about JT Burks in 2040 or 2050, what's something that you hope that they say, or what you leave behind through your work and through you just walking the earth with your family, with the Burks family, in the Burks name? What's your legacy going to be? What do you hope they say about you, man?
I just wanted to be, he was a man of God, a man of character, someone who loved his family, and someone who believed in putting other people first. Because that's what it's all about for me, trying to help other people discover their gift and their talent and encourage them along the way. So if I don't get any credit for anything, and I see people, going out here being successes, that's what pays me. When I see kids reach out and say, man, thank you, coach, because I was going through this, and thank you for reaching out. You helped me and my mom start getting along, or me and my dad, are getting along now because you sat down and you talked with us. So that's what I want my legacy and my name to carry on to be. Someone that healed people, prayed for people, encouraged people, and just lifted them up and helped them believe in themselves. So that's the only thing that I'm remembered for. I'll be good for that.
Well, you definitely do that, man. And asking you that question reminded me of the time. Actually, there was a young man who lost his life during Thanksgiving, and I remember that there was something special going on for the family. If you could share just a little bit of what took place that
Mhm.
day at that ceremony, and what the feeling and emotion was in the community once we heard on Thanksgiving of all nights.
Mm. Man, it was a very riveting moment. It was very emotional. Emotions were high, of course, with the family wanting to, retaliate and find out who did it so they can go out and, pay retribution and everything like that. So, it was kind of like an environment and an atmosphere that can kind of go either way, because the family wanted to make sure people weren't just there for the cameras, and they wanted everybody to pretty much stay on task with, remembering the young man who was slain. And uh, the most powerful thing about it was when the mother spoke, she encouraged everybody that came out, and she kind of became a counselor to everybody on the spot. And that was one thing that really inspired me. I'm like, wow, she just lost her son, and she took the moment to inspire others with a testimony of helping them stay off the streets, helping them get their mind right, and to just help us understand the importance of coming together before tragedy strikes.
Mm.
Because they haven't been in the area of Millville that long. So she was just saying about how she wanted to be more of a climate of togetherness, instead of her putting all the focus on her and being in self-pity. She took that as a moment of strength to display character and inspire everybody to unify to help save our young people. So that was one of the things that I took the most out of that meeting with the family, was the strength of the parents, both mom and dad, just making sure that everybody keep a cool head, and making sure that all the people who came to speak and be a part of the day understood that they were appreciated by the family, and that in itself was inspirational, to see those parents who, in the midst of their grief, were willing to be an inspiration and go around and shake people's hands and hug them and thank them for being there, and letting them know to be encouraged in the work that we do in the community. That's what I took away from it, just the strength of that family.
Got it. Yeah, I think for the mom to step up in that arena like that, it just goes to show you the strength of a woman, man, that gets
Yep,
overlooked so much. And
exactly.
you can't really do great things without a great partner. And
Hmm.
a lot of the times with great men, people neglect to mention the great women that were there the whole step of the way. So shout out to that mother, and shout out to just women in general, man, for just being there. Sometimes the one that doesn't get mentioned all the time, but we're gonna mention you. We're gonna shout you out. So
Exactly.
I remember interviewing you during that march. Again, I don't want to have to go back to that march after George Floyd was slain, but I wanted to speak to your calmness, and you emphasized how this is not about war. Like I remember you were saying that this is something that we need to do. We need to march, because this is important, but this is not to start something. This is not to retaliate, or this is not in the spirit of revenge, but this is something that is important, that I know that you had sons too, so you wanted them to see you in that light.
Mm.
How important, my question is, how important is it for you, since you do have the influence of your community, to make sure that you keep a level head, and to make sure that the people who could be very passionate, or in the moment, or in the middle of whatever's going on, to make sure that they keep their perspective and remember why they're there?
Yeah, it's so important because, following off of, Martin Luther King's coattail, it's not giving people what they want. It's to be able to show individuals that we as African Americans can be about peace, be about love, be about hope, be about tranquility, and all those good things, and that we can take a more of a intellectual approach instead of an emotional approach all the time. and a more sustainable approach to where we can keep something from being systemic if we continue to use our minds and show people that we are progressing as a people instead of, oh, let's get together, let's tear up the city. That's not going to accomplish anything. It's about let's find an understanding even in the midst of our emotions. Let's pause, let's breathe, let's think, and figure it out together and let cooler heads prevail. And that's pretty much what I feel as though will continue to build the best relationships between the community and police, community and schools, and the community as a whole, is if we just learn how to lead more with understanding of one another instead of finding emotional opportunities to just use that as a way to go out here and cause chaos. Let's use it as a way to go out here and come up with solutions. Because if we don't, we're going to keep having the issues reoccur. And obviously we don't want that to continue. So we have to find a way to build better relationships to fix things moving forward instead of constantly having to come back to the drawing board over and over and over again.
Got it. Yeah, I agree. Listen, JT, I want to thank you again, man, for just sitting down with me and taking the time out of your schedule to, come do this, because you're definitely a voice in Cumberland County. So, more power to you, man. And, God bless you and your work, and keep going strong, man. And much love to your family, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man, because they're who I do it for. Like I try to tell people, I have 2 young sons, and one of my mentalities is to go out here and help the kids that's going to be their influence, because eventually they're going to outgrow me for a moment to the point where their peer group is going to be their biggest influencers. So if I can go out here and help some of the kids that's going to be their friends and teammates, then that's the best way that I can help my sons indirectly moving forward too.